Hi, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils, Health Matters, and Living the Wholesome Life. And this is week 9, day 3 of our positive, peaceful growth affirmation. We're doing daily affirmations on our channel, on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page. And basically, we are following Dr. Susan Lawton's Positive Peaceful Growth Calendar that you can buy at Aroma Tools or Oil Life. It looks like this. And so today, so if you've been following us, you know that we do an affirmation for the week and a different affirmation every day. You can set them as reminders on your cell phone. Some people like to set little affirmation reminders, like at 10 o'clock, I'm going to read this little affirmation reminder that pops up every single day. Anyway, there's lots of different ways just to remind ourselves what we're working on, what virtue we're trying to bring into our life each day. So the affirmation for the entire week is, I am saying yes to life all week. And the song that I love to pair with that is Jason Mraz's song, I Want You to Have It All, where a dad is talking to his daughter or child or wife, who even knows, but in the video it's his daughter, saying, I want you to have every good thing in life. And I think that's what God wants us to have. He wants us to have every good thing in life. So that's our affirmation for the week, that we are saying yes to the good things in life. Like, definitely not saying yes to the bad things in life, definitely saying yes to the good things in life. Anyway, so the affirmation for today is, I am saying yes to rewards for myself and my relationships. And I love that. Like, who doesn't want to be rewarded? I definitely want to be rewarded for the good things I am doing. And for me, rewards are often verbal rewards, like even just acknowledgments, like, oh, you know what, I saw that you've been working on cleaning the front room, or you know what, that meal that you made actually tasted wonderful. I'm not the main cook in my house, my husband's the main cook in my house, but when I do cook, I love it when my children or my husband says, you know what, I loved that. Or even, honestly, if they just eat it, that's rewarded enough. Like, if everyone at the table eats what I make, totally rewarded enough. And if you're kind of a mom, you probably know what I'm talking about on that one, unless you don't have children that are picky eaters. And in which case, if you don't, you like, hallelujah, you just got an amazing gift. Okay, so I'm just gonna talk about reward systems. And when we're talking about food, or not having picky eaters, I know a mom who, when she makes a new recipe, makes a new meal, introduces a new food, she puts $1 by the plate. And if people eat that or try it, I don't know how many bites you have to try for that mom, but if you try enough of that, then you get the $1. And you know what? I never really asked her how that's going for her. My best guess is her children love a lot of different foods, because who, especially as you're a child, who doesn't want an easy, quick $1? Anyway, just not throwing an idea out there. If you have picky eaters, something that you might want to try. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about rewards, and I actually love watching clips, informational clips. There's so many on YouTube. I mean, you can pick a subject. Today I was studying, first I was studying like general conference talks and just kind of going through what kind of God is saying to us. But then I kind of got sidetracked. I hopped onto integrity. So I studied different talks on integrity, and then I'm like, what am I talking about today? I'm talking about rewards. Well, let's learn a little bit about rewards. And so I want to share with you some of the things that I've been rewarded for in the past, some of the things that I do to reward people or myself, and then some other ideas on rewards. Okay, so I remember when, I really wish I would have looked this up. Anyway, I remember when I was a teenager, I was probably in junior high school or high school, I can't remember which. And my mom had a religious book that she wanted me to read. It was called How to Pray and Stay Awake. And it was, she knew that I loved reading, loved reading, and but she offered me $20 to read this religious book. Now, honestly, we're gonna be posting in the comments how much $20 today would buy, $20 back in the 1980s would buy in today's money. You know, probably like $30 or more. Maybe it's more than that. But like a good chunk of money. Like, who pays their daughter $20 to read the book? But my mom was the type of person who believed in rewards with us children, and I don't remember like too many rewards that we got, but I do remember that one. And of course I read the book. Like, who wouldn't read the book? So we like to be rewarded. Definitely, some people think that offering gifts or is like bribing children. And so here's my take on bribing as opposed to rewarding, and you can have your own take on it. You know, you do your research and pondering and you know, connecting with God, and see what you think about rewarding or pondering. Or bribing. But a reward is something that you give when someone has done something good. And a bribe is something that you give to have someone do something that's bad, to have someone go against their conscience, to just to have someone do something that's bad or illegal or whatever. So there's a difference between rewards, rewarding good behavior, or bribes, bribing for bad behaviors. Okay, so just saying that one. So please, I love being rewarded. You probably love being rewarded. I think that God rewards us for our good behavior, and I think that the Bible definitely says that. Well, at least my take on the Bible is that God will reward us for every good action that we do. So, and if God does that, then I think we can do that too. So that's just a little bit of my take on rewards. Now, or awards. So I'm going to tell you really quick about an award that I do, that it's helping me in some areas and not in some areas. So at the beginning of the year, I was talking to my husband. I'm like, you know what? So often, my same goals repeat every single year. And I'm like, obviously what I've been doing in the past is not working for me. I'm like, this is what I want to do this year because I think it's going to work for me. And I said I want to set 3 goals, and I want to pay myself $1 a day if I do that thing or if I don't do that thing. And that would be my reward. Now, if I don't do that, then of course I don't get that dollar. And so it's, if you reward yourself, it's kind of like a carrot. If you punish yourself, it's kind of like a stick. So giving myself $1 every single day for doing that little thing is my carrot, right? And not getting it is my stick. But I knew that I needed a bigger stick. And so basically I said, if I do it every single day, during the month, then I get to double my money that I get to reward myself with. And because losing $30 for certain things can be big, right? And so he's like, yeah, go for it. See how that works for you. And so what I decided to do with my money is I would take that money that I earned and donate it to my favorite charity. Like I know of one charity where all of the proceeds actually go to helping, none of it goes paid to administration and overhead costs. So I chose that charity, and it's really worked good I set 3 goals, and I'll kind of tell you what they are. One was not eating sweets, because we have diabetes that runs in our family. And I know that if you don't eat sweets, you might not drop the weight. And it's not going to do everything that you need to do, but it will contribute to your good physical health. It will contribute to your good dental health. And I wanted that. So I'm like, I just don't want to eat sweets. And it has worked amazing for that. Like, I swear, every single month from the time I set that goal, I've been giving $60 to my favorite charity, because it was really easy for me to not do that. Okay, so then I set 2 more goals, and that same thing is not working. That reward is not working good enough for those goals. So one of the goals was not interrupting my husband, which I do. Some days I don't, but some days I do. And so I need to get a different, because I don't want to interrupt my husband. So I need to get a different game plan on that goal. And then my third goal was drinking water, because I can honestly go through the day and just drink 1 glass, maybe 2 glasses of water. And we all know that drinking water is one of the very, very best things that you can have to help you have good health. And so that was one of my goals that I wanted to accomplish this year. And sometimes I get my goal was to drink half my body weight in water a day. Because you're supposed to in ounces, not like in pounds, but like in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, which I do not, but if you weigh 100 pounds, then you would be drinking 50 ounces of water. If you weigh 120, then you would be drinking 60 ounces of water. And that's the minimum amount you're supposed to drink. You're really supposed to drink between half your body weight in ounces or your full body weight in ounces, depending on which health coach you're kind of following. But I definitely am not drinking. I'm not drinking close to that. And so I wanted to up my water intake, and this reward and carrot and stick isn't helping me enough for that water weight. And so I really need to rethink my game plan on that one. Anyway, so what are you doing to reward yourself to help you meet your goals? I would love to hear in the comments what you're doing. Okay, so then I was doing a study on rewarding yourself. And one of the things, so I'm going to tell you some of the things that I learned, which I really, really love. So one of the things I was studying about, anyway, so they were saying don't reward yourself with food. Like, food, or like don't reward yourself with candy, don't reward yourself with candy. And I know I am guilty of doing that. Like, I'm trying to potty train my son, and I'm like, oh, okay, if you go potty, I will give you a Skittle, right? And so I am guilty as much as the next person of doing this. But they were saying that when you're rewarding someone, you really want to try to stay away from rewarding people with food, especially junk food or treats, because you just don't want that to enter their mind that type of food is a reward in and of itself. Because it's not. It's so many of the treats that we eat are detrimental to our health. They're not rewarding to our health. So, anyway, so just try to stay away from rewarding yourself or your children with food. Let's all try to do a better job with that. But it takes a lot. Like, it honestly takes a lot more thought and energy to think of what is a good reward that I could do with this, as opposed to just giving out, oh, if you get that done, you get a candy bar. If you get this done, you get a pizza party. Anyway, so just throw that out there. Let's try to stay away from the food rewards. And then, so the next thing that I was studying on rewarding is, hold on, I'm going to consult my notes right here, is to reward yourself with something that gets you deeper into the habit that you're trying to establish. And I'm going to have to post this on our links or in the comments, because this clip that I watched was so good. It was by Gretchen Rubin, who has written The Happiness Project, The 4 Tendencies, and also a book on oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of it, but basically on how to reach your goals. And she was saying that I know she was saying a lot of people think that if you reward yourself, you're going to get into a habit, but that doesn't always work. Let's say that you reward yourself with a Jamba Juice every single time you jog or something like that. You might, instead of getting into the habit of jogging, you might get in the habit of just having a Jamba Juice every day, which would not be good. They actually have a ton of calories. Just saying, they taste good, and they have some good nutrition in them, but they also are just like chock full of calories too. So weigh that when you're thinking Jamba Juices. But anyway, The other thing that she was saying is when you do a reward, it's often like a stopping point. And she was talking about a person who ran marathons. One of her friends ran a marathon, and she trained in running, and then she ran the marathon, and then she goes, I haven't run since. And Gretchen Rubin was seeing that that's because so often after we accomplished something, we see it as a stopping point, a finish line, and then we kind of have to do this restart in our lives to keep going on with the habit that we're trying to establish, which obviously was running in the first place for this person. So, and I've seen that too happening with people around, in my circles. I can see that when they hit a goal, a lot of times, instead of going on in that habit that they've been trying to establish, it just completely stops. So let's make sure that when we're rewarding something, we're rewarding ourselves in ways that bring us deeper into habit. And one of the things that she was saying, like, let's say that you want to, your habit you're trying to establish is exercise. Well, then maybe you should reward yourself with some new exercise shoes or a new exercise outfit or new music to listen to while you're exercising. And so I had to think of myself, of different ways that I could reward. And one of the things that I deal with on a daily basis is, okay, children, let's get the rooms clean. And honestly, me too. It's like, okay, Suzanne, let's clean your room too. Like, clean your own personal room or do your own chores. And I was just thinking to myself, and because a lot of times I'll use money as a reward. Oh, you got your chores done. Let's give you like 25 cents for cleaning your room today or whatever it is. But I was thinking, maybe it shouldn't be, maybe I should, because money really has nothing to do with the habit that I'm trying to get them to establish. And what Gretchen Rubin said is, when you have to reward someone to do something, they think, oh, I obviously wouldn't want to be doing this on my own because someone has to reward me for this behavior. They actually did a study on rewarding people to color with markers. And which is something that a lot of children love doing. They love coloring with and markers are super fun to color with, right? And so they rewarded one group of children for coloring with markers. And they didn't reward this other group of children. They just let them color with markers. And what they found is the group that was rewarded colored less overall, and they colored worse. And they're like, why should I? And then when the reward was taken away, they're like, why should I color? I'm not getting the payoff anymore. So why should I be coloring, right? So it didn't do anything to establish the habit, the love of something that you were wanting to, that these people were trying to establish. So Gretchen Rubin again said, make sure you're rewarding someone deeper into what you're trying to establish. And I was thinking, okay, when it comes to cleaning their room, what can I do? Well, maybe what I can do, and I don't know because I'm just thinking about this for just a few minutes this morning, but I'm like, maybe what I can do is, instead of giving, okay, you got 25 cents for cleaning your room, maybe I can say, if you clean your room, if you keep your room clean for a solid year, then I'm going to give you something in your room that will make you love your room even more, because you're taking super good care of your room. So when you take super good care of your room, I'm gonna give you something to reward that, to get you deeper in that. So maybe a mom could give them like a new comforter, a new bedspread, new sheets. Maybe they could help them paint their room. Maybe they could get them some really nice furniture, because you know that they're taking care of things. Maybe if clothes don't have to get picked up constantly on the floor, and clothes end up either in the hamper or on the back on the hanger, right? Maybe then, oh, you know what? I've noticed that you've been taking really good care of your clothes. Let's go and buy you a new shirt, a new pair of pants, a new whatever. So you're because you're taking so much good care of your clothes. So then they're like, oh, you know what? I'm taking really good care of myself. This is, here's more, that I get more of something more fun. I don't know. Anyway, you guys know where I'm going with it. Anyway, so maybe a reward for, oh, you know what? You finished your schoolwork today. Let's go to the library and let's get a book on something that you really want to study. So you're rewarding study with study. Do you see how that's rewarding the behavior to get the behavior deeper into the behavior that you want? Anyway, it takes a whole lot more thought. Like, I'm going to totally admit that it takes a whole lot more thought. But I just wanted to throw that idea out there. And again, I'm going to post the clip on rewards that Gretchen Rubin has so that you can actually hear maybe someone else present it too. But let's think about how we're rewarding ourselves. Okay, so two other things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to rewarding. One, they did a study on children that were told that when they did something good or finished a task, you know, a scholastic task, that they were smart. Oh my goodness, you got A's on your report card. You are so smart. You got an A on that paper. You are so smart. And then they followed another group of children that were told, you got A's on your report card. You put in a whole lot of hard work. You got an A on your paper. I'm so proud of you. I can see that you put a whole lot of hard work into that. Anyway, and then they tested each of these groups of children with harder and harder math problems. Like a test with harder and harder math problems on it. And basically, the ones that were told that they were smart didn't want to go on to the harder math problems because they're like, oh my goodness, what if I fail? What if I'm not smart enough to do well on this? And so they didn't do that. And the other group that was told, oh, you're such a hard worker. I love how hard you're working. They're like, yeah, bring it on, bring it on. I want to tackle this stuff because I know that I can definitely, whether I can solve the problem or not, I can definitely work hard on the problem. And the study kind of extrapolated to when you're telling your children they're smart, they might not want to take the harder classes that they might fail at, that they might get a lesser grade in, because then they won't be seen as smart. But when you tell your children you're a hard worker and you put your value on being, and I think, anyway, when you put your value on being a hard worker, then they want to keep working hard. Okay, and so I just need to step back right here and say, we don't want to put our value on, we want to put our values on that we're loved for who we are, right? But we definitely want to encourage the virtues. We want to encourage the hard work. We want to encourage the honesty. We want to encourage the kindness. And so praising in virtue words. You're a hard worker. I can see how kind you're being. Praising in virtue words is a very good way to praise things, to encourage them to do more of that. Anyway, so that's just one of the things that I wanted to say. And the other one, I want to just read the affirmation for today again. And it's, I am saying yes to rewards for myself and my relationships. Okay, so I don't know who's watching this. I don't know if you're a mom, you're a dad, if you're married, you're single. But let's definitely be rewarding relationships. And for a lot of people, rewarding relationships is all about time. So if you're married, try to go on a weekly date. And they don't have to be expensive, but I know that a lot of times people are like, oh, you know what? It costs money to go to the movies. It costs money to go out to dinner. It costs money to go on getaways. And so they don't want to spend the money. But I am just here to remind you, this is what I heard one time, and I've definitely repeated it a ton of times, that paying for dates is a lot less expensive than paying for marriage counseling. So definitely, and extrapolating that, paying for going on outings with your children is a lot cheaper than paying for counseling with your children too. And I'm not saying I love counseling. Like, I totally love counseling. I was a psych major. I believe that counseling can help almost every single person on earth if you have the right counselor. So I love counseling. But what I'm saying is invest in your relationships. Invest money in your relationships, because really at the end of the day, your relationships are what matter most to you. Okay, so we're going to be rewarding ourselves and our relationships. And we're going to be thinking about what rewards can we give ourselves and our relationships to cement what we're trying to cement. Okay, so then y'all know. Oh, and I had two songs I really connected with when I'm thinking about rewarding our. Well, hold on. Actually, I'm going to tell you those songs later. So y'all know that we diffuse a blend every single week, and the blend for this week when it comes to choosing life is Coriander, which is the oil of integrity. Hold on, I just need to check that one. Yep. And ginger, which is the oil of empowerment, and lime, which is the oil of zest for life. Super great combination to be diffusing while we're concentrating on choosing life. And it's Wednesday, so we're going to be talking emotionally about the second oil, which is ginger. So I'm not going to, and again, just to give a shout out to the book that I love, it's Essential Oils, Your Guide to Process, Release, and Live Free. Got to get it. I love it, love it. I'm only going to be telling you a few things out of the book, but you can get it at Oil Life or Aroma Tools. Anyway, I love what it says and how it says that ginger is the oil of empowerment. And so this is some of the things that ginger addresses. Ginger, and I'm just going to read you out some parts from this book. Ginger addresses deep patterns of victim mentality, which is evidenced by feelings of powerlessness, believing that everything is outside of one's control, refusing to take responsibility in life, or blaming life circumstances on other people or outside influences. And I'm not saying that nothing ever just happens to you. You could drive in on the street and someone can just run into you. So some things do just happen to you in life, but there's a lot more things that we have influence with. Let's say that we get a cavity in our teeth. Well, have we been brushing our teeth? Have we been flossing our teeth? Have we been taking care of our teeth? Let's not blame the cavities on, oh, just I have bad genes. And maybe some of us are more prone to getting cavities, but there's, even in those circumstances, there's probably things that we can do to help our situation. So let's think of the situations that we have that maybe aren't going exactly the way we want, and let's get out of our victim mentality. Let's get back into our empowerment, and let's see what we can do to help the situations out. Like when you're sitting in victim mentality, when you're saying, yeah, I'm not responsible for that, and you're not taking any responsibility, you're not helping your situation. So let's just take our empowerment back. Let's take our responsibility back, and let's say, oh, you know what? I didn't handle that situation exactly right. Let me do some relationship healing there. Or you know what? I haven't been drinking my water, and so let me do a little bit. I can be more empowered there. I can take the responsibility for what I want to happen in life back. Okay, so if you're someone who's like, yeah, I'm not responsible for that, not responsible, victim mentality, like, you can sit there if you want, but I'm really guessing that that's not making your life happy. So let's start diffusing ginger. Let's start, like when you find yourself going to that victim mentality, pop a doTERRA ginger drop, right? They taste so good, like crazy good. And let's let ginger remind us that we're not victims. We are not victims. We are agents to act and not be acted upon. And that is one of my favorite sayings, one of my favorite scriptures. Anyway, so going on. Ginger empowers individuals in taking complete responsibility for their own life circumstances. It infuses a warrior-like mentality based on integrity. So the ginger and coriander pairing, ginger being the oil of empowerment, coriander being the oil of integrity, is super, super good. Ginger helps people see themselves as creators of their own lives. No longer waiting for outside circumstances to change, they choose their own destiny. Okay, so really quick, and I'm going to be talking about we get to choose our life, right? And so the negative emotions that ginger addresses is a victim mentality, feeling powerless, being unwilling to take responsibility. Like, it all starts with us getting out of the victim mentality. It all starts with us taking responsibility for who we are and our own lives. If you're feeling defeated, if you're feeling stuck, or if you're blaming others, ginger can really help with that. And the positive properties that it brings in is feeling empowered, committed, capable, purposeful, and accountable. And when we take responsibility for our own lives and our own actions, we are being accountable to ourselves, and we're being accountable to God, which are two people that I think you should always be accountable for. So as I was thinking on being creators of our own life, right? I was reminded of two songs, and one is from my favorite musicals, and it's called My Turn on Earth. If you ever get a chance to see it, definitely go or buy the video from Deseret Book. Anyway, but they have a song in there, and it says like this: I'm the one who writes my own story. I decide the person I'll be. What goes in the plot or what does not is pretty much up to me. Okay, I'm going to finish the sentence just because I really, really like it. That verse of the song, and it goes, and just in case I need to erase, it was figured out before, a thing called repentance can wipe out a sentence, a page or a chapter or more. So, going back to I'm the one who writes my own story, I decide the person I'd be. I decide whether I'm going to be someone who does drugs or not. I decide if I want to, and I decide that by never doing the first thing of drugs. I decide whether I want my lungs to be as healthy as I can, and I decide that by never taking the first puff on the cigarette. And I decide whether I want to be an alcoholic by never taking the first drink. And I'm not saying that everyone who takes the first sip becomes an alcoholic. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that if you never take the first sip, rock solid that you will not be an alcoholic, right? And so maybe I decide to speak kindly to my children, and I definitely have to apologize to my children many times. It's like, oh, I'm really sorry. I could have said kinder. I apologize to my children. But we decide what we want. We decide we can decide our occupation. We decide whether we want to be the doctor, the lawyer, the architect, the YouTube sensation. We decide that by pursuing education, or we decide, I'm fine. I'm just going to work for this minimum wage job, and we have that choice. We decide that, and so you don't get to decide everything that goes in your life. Like, you might not have decided to get divorced. You might not have decided to have your spouse cheat on you. I'm guessing you decided that one. I don't know anyone who would decide that one. But we can decide what we do when things happen to us. We can decide whether we stay in bitterness and stuck, or we do our best to forgive and move on. We decide that. Isn't it amazing? Like, we get to decide our life. Maybe not everything in our life, but we can decide the most important things in our life, right? And just saying, we don't get to decide whether our spouse is faithful to us or not. But we do get to decide whether we're faithful. And that's the most important thing. Like, whether our spouse is faithful, that's between him and God, or her and God, right? It's between the spouse and God. But whether we're faithful, that's the most important thing. Okay, so that's one of the songs I super connect with when I think of I get to decide my life, which is all that Ginger tells us to be the oil of empowerment. And the other song that I super connect with, and I couldn't find this song anywhere on YouTube. It might be there, but I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm sure you can find it somewhere else. It's Afterglow, the Captain of My Soul. And the song, some of the lyrics from the song that I remember listening to when I was in college was, I am the captain of my soul, master of my destiny. And I am the captain of my soul. And I am the master of my destiny. And you are the captain of your soul. And you are the master of your destiny. You are. You are. So just saying that one. Okay. So I think that we've gone through almost everything that I wanted to tell you about today. I'm just looking through my list super quick. Yeah, I think we've gone through everything. So just make sure that when you're rewarding, that you are rewarding yourself. Everyone loves rewards. Reward yourself in a way of ginger, the oil of empowerment, and 2 drops of lime, the oil of zest for life, and we are saying yes to life. Okay, this is Suzanne. Hold on just a minute. Okay, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils, Health Matters, Living the Wholesome Life, and I know you have it. You are empowered to have that energy, that drive in you and that goodness in you to make it a great day. Bye-bye.